If another childless person tells me how to be a father, I'll scream. I know this is gonna get me on TikTok for sure, but here I go. If another woman tells me how to be a father, I will open my mouth and flat out scream. You can no more tell me how to be a father than I can tell you how to birth a baby. I don't know nothing about birthing a baby. I don't know nothing about nursing a child. You have to know what you don't know. Shut up being the teacher and just be the wife. Do you know how to be a father? Not only are you not a father, most of you didn't even have a father, and yet you're an expert on how to be. But that's all right, I'm not gonna bother you because you're not in the text. That's all right, I'm sorry. I got off the text. Let me get back to the text. I'm not gonna bother you today and all your ideas and all the stuff you read in Essence and Woman's Today and all the things you heard at the beauty shop about what a man ought to be. I'm not gonna bother it today because you're an expert on something you have never done. I'm gonna leave you alone. I'm not gonna try to argue with you because you talk faster than me. Go ahead. But just because you out-talk me doesn't mean you change my mind. That's why I look at you like this when you're talking.
And to prove peace and blessing, this is Derric Rau Khu. And the other day I went here and I posted a video in response to one of the comments that Dr. Umar stated. And in that video, I also went in here and I talked about the cultural iceberg. And I got to thinking about something after I posted that video. Now, it got me thinking about one of my favorite movies, The Last Samurai. Now, I know before you go ahead and you say it, I know you're going to say, hey, you know, The Last Samurai, but Tom Cruise was The Last Samurai? Well, that's BS. I can't believe you like that, bruh. Well, first of all, I don't like The Last Samurai because Tom Cruise was in it. I agree totally with what you're saying, okay? That's not the reason why I like The Last Samurai. I like The Last Samurai mainly because it showcased traditional Japanese culture. It showcased traditional culture prior to the Western invasion. To give you an example of what I mean, in the movie, Tom Cruise, he gets captured by the samurai, and they take him to one of their encampments. Now, while they're there, the Lord, I believe his name was Kasimoto, he is talking to his sister, Taka, and he's telling her, he says, hey, you know, while Tom Cruise is there, he's like, I want to study my enemy. So he's like, I want you to go ahead and, you know, basically he's going to sleep in your house, okay? Because I want to study him. I want to find out what my enemy's about. And immediately, Taka goes ahead and she's like, you know, in disgust. She's like, he stinks and this and that and the other. I don't want to do this, blah, 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 blah. And Kasimoto looks at her, and then she stops herself and she says, I'm sorry. I apologize for breaking my Bushido. Now, that was such a powerful scene, mainly because what Taka realizes is that she is putting her selfish desires, her selfish wants, which is to get this man out of her house because she doesn't like him, she doesn't like the way he smells and all that kind of stuff. She's putting all that above the needs of the people, the needs of the clan. And that's why she apologizes. And that's what made that such a powerful thing, a powerful scene in the movie. And it made it such a powerful movie because when you understand it from that perspective, you start to see that basically what these people are really going ahead and they're fighting for, they're fighting to maintain their way of life, which is pretty much the same thing we're all doing. We're trying to go ahead and we're fighting we're fighting this whole egotistical society, that goes ahead and encourages us to be all about our own individual self, to be selfish. That's what we're fighting against. And that's the reason why I like The Last Samurai. So that brings to mind, what is the purpose of a man? Now, the reason why I'm asking this question is because, of course, we know, what men can do and all that kind of stuff. But what I'm talking about is when we look at it from a metaphysical perspective, a man is a direct opposite of what a female is. And you have to ask yourself, why? Well, from looking at this example, you can see that basically a lot of women in general, they make decisions based upon their emotions. Now, here's the thing. If you had a man and a woman tells a man that this is how you're supposed to do things, this is how you're supposed to act as a man, then that man is not going ahead and fulfilling his role as a male. Because now what is happening, he's going ahead and he's doing things based upon his emotions as well. So let's just look at that. If we looked at that whole Last Samurai, that whole scene in which I was talking about, and Taka says, hey, I don't want to bring this man in because he stinks and this and that and the other. And let's say that the Lord Kasamoto, he says the same thing. Okay, well, don't bring him in. Then would he have been able to defeat his enemies? Would he have been able to protect that clan? Would he have been able to protect the tribe? No. But far too often, this is what happens. When a man goes ahead and he tells a woman, hey, I need you to do this. Hey, can you do this? Or whatever the case may be. In this society, it's interpreted as he's being toxic. He's commanding me to do this. He's demanding that I do this. And as a result, what happens is, what is not realized is that he's not doing the same thing you're doing because he doesn't have any emotional tie to it. He's not looking at it based upon his feelings. He's not looking at the situation based upon his emotions or how he feels. He's looking at it from a logical perspective. And because you don't realize that, because you're not seeing the divine interdependence that you are supposed to have with him, because you don't see that, you miss out on the protection that he can provide you. You miss out on the support that he can provide you. You miss out on all the provisions that he can provide you because you're tied into your emotions and you're looking at him, expecting him to go ahead and do things based upon his emotions. And it's not going to work that way. This is the reason why in the Taoist philosophy, yang and yin both exist. They're both interdependent upon each other. You got to have both of them in order for there to be life, in order for life to exist. Both of them are needed. In the Kemetic tradition, the Kemetic sages went ahead and decided to represent the masculine principle as Shu. And Shu is followed by the lioness, Tefnut. So as you can see, this is all about balance. And balance exists in every traditional culture there is. So in regards to the relationship problems and all these other issues, as you can see, it has nothing to do with who's to blame, who's not to blame and all that. It stems from the fact that we've been disconnected from our ancestral way, our ancestral beliefs, our ancestral practices and values. And the only way to go ahead and correct the wrong is to reconnect back to them.